Hey guys! Today's video is going to be the Reading Habits book tag. I was tagged by colourmereads, whose channel I will link down below along with a specific tag video, and I'm going to tag her bookstagram because she has one of the prettiest bookstagrams I've ever seen. I'm also going to link the original video for this tag down below in case you're interested in that as well. Question number 1 of the tag is, do you have a certain place at home for reading? I do. I have a few different places I like to read, and it kind of depends on whether my husband is home, if he's asleep, and how much clothing I have on. I like to read on my back patio, but because I live in Arizona and it gets so hot, a lot of times when I first wake up in the morning when I like to read, I'm not wearing pants, so I can't sit on my back patio because I live in an apartment complex and neighbors would see me. So if that's the case, then I usually will just read in bed, but when my husband is home and he's asleep because he has a really different schedule than I do, I like to just sit in the front room on the couch and read there. Question number 2 is, do you use a bookmark or a random piece of paper? I generally always use bookmarks. I don't really use random pieces of paper, but if I don't have my bookmark around and I was using my reading light to read, I'll just like bend the reading light to the page I was on. Eventually, if I find a bookmark, I'll use a bookmark instead. Question number 4 is, can you just stop reading whenever, or do you have to stop reading after a certain number of pages or at the end of a chapter? I rarely just stop reading after a random amount of pages or in the middle of a chapter. I almost always have to end at the end of a chapter, but I kind of combine that with a page count as well. When I first start a new book, I like to read at least the first 50 to 100 pages the first night I read it, or approximately first 50 or 100 pages depending on where there's a chapter ending around that page number. This definitely causes me to have a love-hate relationship with books with shorter chapters because in my head I think, oh, there's only 5 more pages, I'll just read those 5 more pages and then go to bed. And then I'm like, well, but the next one's only 6 pages long, so I'll read those 6 more pages too. And then after you know it, I'm halfway through the book and I've lost a lot of sleep. Question number 4 is, do you eat or drink while reading? I definitely always have a water bottle around. I have water bottles around with me constantly. Again, because I live in Arizona and it's hot and I'm constantly parched. I'm a lame reader though, in that I don't drink coffee or tea, so I can't ever have cute little pictures with mugs and stuff because the only thing I would really drink out of a mug is cocoa. It's too hot here for that. As far as eating goes, I do have a tendency to snack on crackers just because they're so perfectly tiny. I just put one in my mouth while I'm reading and they're salty and delicious. Other than that though, I don't really eat meals while I'm reading because I always have dirty fingers as it is. I don't know why. My hands are always dirty. My mom used to get so mad at me when I was a kid because all of our light switches would have like black marks on them from if I was drawing, or there would be like just smudges of brown from whatever. That makes it sound like I'm an unclean person. That's not the case. It's just my fingers are always dirty, and I know that if I read while I'm eating a meal, I'm just gonna get greasy stains all over my book. Question number 5. Do you listen to music or have the TV on while you're reading? I absolutely do not have the TV on while I'm reading. I don't know why anybody would do that. Just either watch TV or read your book. I will on occasion listen to music while I'm reading, especially if I'm reading at like a cafe or something and there are people having conversations around me, or I don't like the music that the cafe is actually playing. I'll just put my headphones in and listen to some classical music. I did major in music, violin specifically, so if you guys like listening to instrumental music or classical music, let me know and I would love to give you some recommendations or suggestions. Most of the time though, I like to listen in silence as I like just filling my brain with what I'm reading. Question number 6 is, do you like to read one book at a time or multiple? This kind of varies for me. Occasionally I like reading more than one and occasionally I like just reading one. It's not really a fondness towards either option. It just kind of depends on my mood. Question number 7 is, reading at home or reading wherever? I do most of my reading at home, but I don't dislike reading other places. I actually really like riding my bike to the park and putting my book in my little basket and then reading at the park. It's just nice to be outside and have fresh air and everything. So I'm open to reading wherever, except for I don't read well in cars and stuff. It makes me car sick, but I like the idea of reading anywhere. Question number 8 is, do you read out loud or do you read silently in your head? I would actually love to see somebody say that they prefer reading out loud. I don't think I don't think I know anybody that prefers reading out loud. I definitely read in my head. The only time I'll read a book out loud is if I'm reading my own book that I'm working on, but that's just to make sure that the dialogue isn't cheesy or awkward or that the phrasing isn't too wordy or things like that. But I don't read already published books out loud. Question number 9 is, do you read ahead or do you skip pages? Okay, the only time I skip pages is if it's like a lineage chart in the Bible. Other than that, I don't skip pages. I'm surprised that people might. I think that that's kind of crazy. I mean, what's the point of reading a book if you're not going to read all of the book? I am ashamed to admit that occasionally I will skim ahead just to see if I glance a certain person's name or certain thing. I don't know. I'm bad. I do definitely skim ahead sometimes, rarely, but I would be a liar if I said I never did. Question number 10 is, do you break your books' spines or do you keep them like new? I do a mix of both. I don't like breaking spines. In fact, I hate breaking spines, but I do it unintentionally so often and I get so mad at myself when I do it. It honestly happens with books more this size. I'll be reading and the margins on the inside are kind of small, and so I will be trying to read and then just unintentionally I'll just and then it's broken and I feel bad. And last, question number 11 is, do you write in your books? I have only ever written maybe in a textbook. I don't think I've ever written in just a regular book that I'm reading. I know some people do, especially if they are trying to make sure that they take note of things while they're reading and they want to give really good, insightful book reviews. I just can't bring myself to do it. So there you go, guys. That's it for the Reading Habits book tag. Thank you again so much to Color Me Read for tagging me to do this video. As for who I'm tagging, I tag Lauren Mays and Penny and Books to do this tag. And I tag all of you, even if I don't know your channels or I don't know you. You should totally do it, and then you should tag me on Instagram or something because I would love to watch your video. If you guys have any other tags or any other bookish type videos you'd like me to film, let me know that in the comment section below. But other than that, as always, if you liked the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click the little bell icon so you get notified when I post new videos, and check out my other videos right over here. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!